Hey guys, I want to talk to you today about when you are trying to remember something and you cannot remember it. And I'll use the example of names and faces, first of all, a trick to remember a name that you can't remember. And then maybe something like when you're taking a test or something like that. So here's the deal. The best way to remember names and faces is to use the system that I teach on how to memorize names and faces. But it requires you to do it the instant you meet somebody, at the time you're meeting somebody. And if you don't know my process for remembering names, click the link in the description. There's another video and it'll take you to my video on how to remember names. But let's say you see somebody that you've met before and you did not use my system to memorize their name. Maybe you met them before you learned my system, or maybe you just didn't use it. So what do? Well, you're kind of in a mess because you didn't memorize their name with any sort of system. So now you have to try to figure out their name, unless you just want to walk up to them and say, hey, I don't know your name. Can you tell me your name? That's the easiest way. But maybe you don't want to do that because maybe you should know their name, or you're supposed to. Here's a trick. It doesn't always work, but it's a last ditch effort to remember their name. What I will do is I will look at them and then I'll just go through the alphabet. Does their name start with A? No. Does their name start with B? No. Does it start with C? No. Does it start with D? No. Does it start with F? Frank. Wait a minute, I think his name is Frank. Frank! And so I will go through the alphabet until I get to a letter that prompts me, oh yeah, that's their name. Sometimes that does work. When I used to compete in memory competitions, if I had a 2-digit number, if I was writing out the number and I had a spot where there was 2 digits and I couldn't remember those 2 digits, I would just race through all the 2-digit numbers in my mind from 00 to 99. And oftentimes when I got to the 2-digit number that it was, boom, it would pop up. Sometimes all you need is a brain trigger. So use the alphabet method, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way up, and see if that triggers their name. So that's tip number 1 on how to recall a name when you didn't memorize it the right way in the first place. Here's my second tip for you. This works if you're taking a test, if you're a student, or for remembering names too. At conferences, I will often meet 100 people or 200 or 300 people in the audience. I'll get up on stage. I'll say, if I met you, stand up. 300 people will stand up. And then I will run through the audience and I will repeat all of the names that I memorized. Now, if I get to somebody that I don't know their name, so I'm going down the road. Tom, you can sit down. Lisa, you can sit down. Brian, you can sit down. Karen, you can sit down. Steve, you can sit down. Wendy, you can sit down. And then I get to somebody I don't know. If that happens, I do not just sit there and look at the person. I don't sit there and like, oh my God, what's their name? What's their name? What's their name? Why don't I do that? Because oftentimes I'm in front of a couple hundred people. And if I focus on that one person that I don't know, it's going to stress me out. And then I might forget the people that I do know. So if I get to somebody I don't know, this is what I do. I will run through all the people's names. You can sit down, you can sit down, you can sit down. And then when I get to that person I don't know, I say, I will come back to you, stay standing. And then I keep going, and then I come back to them at the end. Why do I do that? Because it keeps my brain relaxed. A relaxed brain is the key to remembering. If your brain is stressed out, you won't be able to remember. So this works if you're taking a test too. If you're taking a test and you know that answer, you know that answer, you know that answer, then you get to an answer you don't know, skip it. Why? Because it keeps your brain relaxed, and then easily answer all the questions you don't know, and then go back to the ones that you did not know. So I gave you 2 strategies in this video on how to remember things that you don't know, that you can't remember. The first one is with names, go through the alphabet, and the second one was if you can't remember something, don't stress out about it. focus on something else, divert your attention, it'll keep your brain relaxed, and that relaxed brain will often feed you the answers. If you like this video, I would really appreciate if you got some value from it for giving me a thumbs up. I don't use paid advertising for my YouTube channel, and so I really rely on you guys to give me thumbs ups, because that tells YouTube that this is a good video, and they'll show it to more people. I also rely on you guys to share it and subscribe, because that again tells YouTube it's a good video, and they'll show it to more people. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.